Saying goodbye to our special friend is painful.
She was strength itself.
Fun and feisty. The tough but loving enforcer.
Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all.
Her strength and courage known the world over. Tonight, Barbara Bush, the rock of a political dynasty, wife and mother of presidents, is now at rest. Today, a family and nation said goodbye to a remarkable, graceful woman, once described as Texas royalty. Much more on that in a moment, but first, we've got some rain on the radar. David Paul is on Weather Watch tonight. David's making a mess in some places.
It's a real mess. It's not severe, but the roads and any travel for the next couple of hours is going to be impacted by rain, wet roads, the spray. So on this Saturday night, stay home in the next couple hours if you can. Here's the radar. Again, it's mostly just moderate to some pockets of heavy rain. There are a few flashes of lightning here. There are no warnings. There's no severe weather, but I see some pretty good lightning there near folks near Columbus, northern portions of Liberty County, and then Sugar Land heading toward you in Missouri City and south of Katy. That's a pretty good thunderstorm as well. It's going to be in downtown and the Med Center and all of us here across the heart of Harris County here in the next hour or so. I'll put a storm track on this. So it reaches Pasadena on the east side of town by 11:25, Baytown by almost midnight, League City a little after midnight, and of course Anahuac and Mont Belvieu and Chambers County looks like a midnight or a little after midnight arrival for you guys. So that's what's coming through. Overnight showers, a few thunderstorms, nothing severe. It ends before sunrise. Wait till you see what a beauty Sunday is going to be. That and the rest of the extended forecast up in a couple of minutes.
All right, thank you so much, Dave. A reminder, when the weather does turn bad, turn to KHOU.com for interactive radar. You can also check out the KHOU app. Now, Barbara Bush. It was a beautiful funeral service for an extraordinary figure in American history. A ceremony full of tears and laughter. The funeral may have been private, but it was being televised, and millions were watching as Barbara Bush's life was celebrated.
Barbara Bush was the First Lady of the greatest generation.
Presidential historian John Meacham talked about what the Bushes meant to America.
Instinctively generous, Barbara and George Bush put country above party, the common good above political gain, and service to others above the settling of scores.
4 former presidents were here, including the Clintons, Obamas, and First Lady Melania Trump, as they watched Bush family members read from the Bible.
Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all.
And they told their stories of a strong mother.
You see, our mom was our first and most important teacher. Sit up, look people in the eye, please say please and thank you, do your homework, quit whining and stop complaining, eat your broccoli. Yes, Dad, she said that.
The former Florida governor was full of stories that brought laughter and stories that spoke of Mrs. Bush's unending guidance.
We learned to strive to be genuine and authentic by the best role model in the world. Her authentic plastic pearls, her not culling her hair. By the way, she was beautiful till the day she died.
It was, in the end, the simple service Mrs. Bush had requested, beautiful and moving in its simplicity, as the family left the church for the long ride to Mrs. Bush's final resting place. Along that ride, the Bush family was met with roadside messages of hope and love, marquees that said, "Fare thee well," another, "God bless the Bush family," and Barbara Bush, an inspiration to us all. Hundreds of Houstonians lined the streets to watch the procession from St. Martin's Church in West Houston through George Bush Park, where the Bush family was often spotted walking their dog Millie. Denise Sessler flew in from Tennessee just for the visitation and the motorcade.
The first president I was old enough to vote for was H.W., and I've always admired that family. He's a national hero, and he couldn't have done all the things he did without her. I just wanted to be one of the people who let her family know that how much she was loved.
And this tribute caught our eye. Along the procession route in College Station, where they didn't have pearls to wear in the First Lady's honor, They used a strand of balloons instead. The 2-hour ride north to College Station ended at the Bush Presidential Library. Stephanie Whitfield was there.
It's hard to imagine a more fitting final goodbye for Barbara Bush. An entrance fit for a First Lady with the privacy of a tight-knit family, just how Mrs. Bush wanted it. Besides her immediate family, she also requested 15 singing cadets to perform one last song, something the students were honored to do for a woman they admired. Now, the former First Lady is exactly where she chose to be, resting in peace between two institutions she loved, the Bush Library and Bush School, next to the young daughter she said goodbye to decades ago. In College Station, Stephanie Whitfield, KHOU 11 News.
And Mrs. Bush's funeral happened to fall on a rather important day at Texas A&M. Tonight was Aggie Muster. Each year on April 21st, no matter where they are in the world, students and alumni praise a roll call, a list of Aggies lost over the past year. The university included Barbara Bush on that list.
I softly call her name. This faithful leader, this gracious person, great American, and selfless servant. I call for your reply. Barbara Pierce Bush. Here.
The school says it considers Mr. and Mrs. Bush permanent members of the Texas A&M family. President Trump is honoring Mrs. Bush with this photo of her portrait in the White House, tweeting that his thoughts and prayers are with the entire Bush family. He said he did not attend the funeral because he wanted to avoid disruptions today with the added security. As we said earlier, First Lady Melania Trump did make the trip on behalf of the White House. She sat near the front, along with the Obamas and the Clintons. After the funeral, Melania had this statement: "Today, the world paid tribute to a woman of indisputable character and grace. It was my honor to travel to Houston to give my respects to Barbara Bush and the remarkable life she led as a mother, wife, and fearless First Lady." This week, we've been following the owners of a landmark pizza parlor. Their lives were changed 2 decades ago when President and Mrs. Bush took a liking to their restaurant. Matt Doherty is live tonight at the Bush's neighborhood in Tanglewood with that story. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Ron. Yeah, the couple was among the more than 1,500 guests at the funeral today. Their lives were 2 of many touched by the First Lady, who was a loyal friend. At the Bush's favorite pizza place not far from their home in Tanglewood,
it's a pepperoni and more pepperoni.
The customers pay tribute to the First Lady on the day of her burial, ordering the pizza that bears her name. It was her favorite.
We are getting a lot of requests today for Barbara Bush. We're selling a lot of it.
But what customers may not realize is the connection Mrs. Bush had to this place. It ran deeper than just the food.
It was about pizza, but it was about, she really loved and admired Fuzzy for his achievements.
To the Bushes, Fuzzy Hajar, an immigrant from Syria, embodied the American dream. She loved his story, and she loved his food.
Barbara Bush. Barbara!
Mrs. Bush, who admittedly wasn't the best cook, shared her love of Fuzzies with the world.
And the next thing I knew, I'd knocked the spaghetti off, sauce off. So that was the night George Bush and I discovered you could call out.
It's like an episode of I Love Lucy.
That's right, you could call out for Fuzzy's Pizza. I mean,
The Bushes reportedly ate here at least once a month, sometimes more when they were in town for more than 20 years. They became close to the couple and the business grew, partly because of the Bushes' patronage.
Okay, enjoy it.
Earlier this week, the couple wasn't sure if they'd be asked to attend the funeral.
The music, the choir, oh my goodness, it was emotional.
But sure enough, Mrs. Bush wanted them there.
We was here, last time. It's really...
Fuzzy gets choked up, reflecting on the day.
The hardest thing is when they took Barbara from the church and her kids walked behind her. I cried, she cried, and we couldn't handle it. It was, our friend.
Today, Fuzzy and Rita Hajar did get to say goodbye to the friend who forever changed the direction of their lives. Now, I asked Fuzzy a few days ago if he was still going to keep Mrs. Bush's favorite pizza on the menu now that she's gone. He said absolutely. It'll be there forever. Back to you, Ron.
Yeah, it is a popular item nowadays. Thank you so much, Matt Doherty, live in West Houston. Another person who attended the ceremony, CBS sportscaster Jim Nantz. He used to work here at KHOU. He had a deep connection to the Bush family. He even proposed to his wife at the Bush compound up in Maine, with Barbara at his side.
She had a way of telling you exactly what she thought. She did it in a charming way that had a touch of humor to it. But she made her point. She influenced my life in a lot of ways. She, you know, when there were times in my life where things weren't going so great, she was there to lift me up and tell me how to get the train back on the track and to inspire me. She would see the potential in people and lead you to believe that you could accomplish something.
Great memories from Jim Nantz.